Game week 8 is right after an international break. Maybe injuries forces us into using a chip, or maybe you already planned to use your free hit or your wildcard. In this video, I'll take a look at the best possible wildcard team, the best free hit team, and in addition, I will include some of the best differentials going forward. So let's have a look. Let's start by taking a look at some of the best differentials going forward. Those players were heavily discussed in preseason in the FPL community. Injuries, suspensions, and a really bad start for West Ham have made us kind of forget those players. But Strand Larsen playing up front for Wolves, they have really good fixtures coming up. He might be their penalty taker as well, only selected by 1.5 of the managers. He has 0.74 expected goals from his last 4 matches, even though he has not completed 4 matches yet. So I think that going for Strand Larsen up front could be a really good option going forward. In the midfield spot, I've selected Anthony Gordon. He's had a good start to the season. He's done well in the Champions League for Newcastle as well. He hasn't really played that much in the Premier League because of a 3-game suspension he picked up against Liverpool. But Anthony Gordon, he is back. He's on penalties for Newcastle, and they have a reasonable good fixtures going forward as well, playing against Nottingham Forest. So last season, this probably would have been a grey or a yellow fixture, but Nottingham Forest, they do not look the same as we got used to last season. So playing Nottingham Forest at the St James's Park, this is a good fixture for Newcastle. They also will play against Brighton and Fulham in the next couple of fixtures. So Anthony Gordon in, only selected by 2.5% of the managers. I think this is a good transfer ahead of game week 8. The last player is Diouf. West Ham, as mentioned, they had a terrible start to the season, so most Diouf owners sold him after the first couple of game weeks, but I think that he will become a really good option going forward. They have appointed Nuno Espirito Santos as their manager. He's known for his good defensive organization, so I think that Diouf will be a really good defender going forward. They might potentially pick up some clean sheets. He's already had 3 assists. He's been close to pick up defensive contributions as well, so at 4.4 million, only selected by 3.5. I think Diouf is a really good defender to target ahead of game week 8. But some of those players, they are in my wildcard team, so let's take a look at my game week 8 wildcard draft. In goal, no big surprise, I've gone for Raya. Arsenal, they are the best defense. In game week 7 against West Ham, they actually had 0 expected goals conceded against them, so I think that Raya is not a goalkeeper to pick up a lot of save points, but he will get clean sheets. So covering the Arsenal defense with Raya, I think this is a really good idea. On the bench, the only starting 4.0 goalkeeper, Dubravka. He actually has a decent fixture playing against Leeds in game week 8, but I would start Raya. In defense, I've gone for a couple of differentials. As mentioned, some of those players have been a bit forgotten because of injuries and the terrible start for West Ham. I've gone for Gabriel as well. Really solid option. He's selected by close to 30% at this point. He has attacking threat. He can pick up defensive contribution points. His price has gone up to 6.2, but I think that Gabriel is still a really good and a safe option going forward. As mentioned, Diouf, big differential. I think that he can be a gem going forward. Same with Lewis Hall. He had a really good 24-25 season, but he got injured, so he hasn't played that much, but he has been in the squad and he got some minutes for Newcastle going forward. Livramento, he is injured for a couple of months, so I think that Lewis Hall will get plenty of game time going forward. So Lewis Hall, Gabriel and Diouf in defense. And on my bench, I have Rodon. I think that he is a really good option, only priced at 4 million. And I have Richards covering the Crystal Palace defense as well. So a strong midfield, a really safe option in Gabriel, and a couple of punts in my starting 11. But let's take a look at the midfield. So first player in midfield, Semenyo. His price has gone up to 7.8. Really solid start to the season for Semenyo, starting to score goals. We know that in the last couple of seasons he has had a lot of chances, but this season he is actually ducking those chances away. So playing against Crystal Palace, not the best fixture, but I think that having Semenyo is a really safe and solid option going forward. The next midfielder is Sarr. They're playing against each other in game week 8, so Bournemouth, they play away against Crystal Palace, and I think that Sarr will be a good FPL option going forward as well, only selected by 5.5% of the managers, and he is kind of a talisman for Crystal Palace at the moment. Mateta, he will take their penalties, but I think that Sarr is a really good option. The next player is Saka. Talking about penalties, in game week 7 we saw that Saka, he is actually the first choice penalty taker for Arsenal. I think this makes him definitely the best option to own from Arsenal. They have really good fixtures, so Saka, he would definitely be in my game week 8 wildcard team. Only selected by 8.5% of the managers. This will probably go up a bit before game week 8 deadline, but I think that even if you're on a wildcard or using free transfers, Saka, he should be included. The last player in my wildcard starting 11 midfield is Anthony Gordon. He has been suspended as mentioned, so I think that he has been kind of forgotten. His ownership gone a bit up before game week 7. I think this will continue increasing ahead of game week 8. So if you're on a wildcard, if you have a couple of free transfers, Anthony Gordon is a really good transfer ahead of game week 8. Good fixtures for Newcastle, and Anthony Gordon, he is on penalties. So a lot of good players in midfield: Semenyo, Sarr, Saka and Gordon. On the bench, I've opted for a budget option in Josh King, playing as the number 10 for Fulham. He will potentially be on the bench most of the game weeks, but I think that he is a good player and he allows you to upgrade more in your starting 11. So this is my game week 8 wildcard midfield. So let's take a look at the forwards. Up front, I've gone for the best forward in the world at the moment, Erling Haaland. He's been really solid so far this season. He has been contributing with both goals and assists, and he's more involved this season compared to especially periods last season. So he's more touches in the box, more shots on target. He has the highest and the best attacking stats, the highest expected goals so far this season. So Erling Haaland, I think that he should be included at the moment. His price has gone up to 14.5, so at the moment he is actually the most expensive player, but I think that he should be included. Everton in game week 8, I think they will struggle against Man City. The next forward is a really big differential, only selected by 1.5% of the managers. Strand Larsen, I mentioned him when I talked about differentials in the introduction of this video, but I think that he is a really good punt at the moment. Good fixtures for Wolves, and he may potentially be their penalty taker. The last player in this team is Jared Bowen. As with Diouf, a lot of managers started with Jared Bowen but lost patience after the first couple of game weeks. But after this, he actually has gotten 3 goals. Did struggle against Arsenal in game week 7, but this was expected. Arsenal, they are the best defensive team in the league, but I think that Jared Bowen can be a really good player to own going forward. We know that he is nailed on, and we know that he will contribute with both goals and assists. So Jared Bowen up front, Strand Larsen and Erling Haaland. I think this is a really good attacking trio. Gyökeres could be an option, but I really would like to double up on the Arsenal defense and have Saka in midfield rather than going Gyökeres at the moment. So please let me know what you think about this wildcard team in the comments down below, and let's take a look at a potential free hit team as well. So in my free hit team, I've gone for some of the same players, but there are a couple of differences as well. I've gone for a double Arsenal defense, but not Raya. I've gone for Timber and Gabriel as my double up on the Arsenal defense. I have Donnarumma in. I think that Man City can do well against Everton. They haven't looked that threatening, so Everton have kept a couple of clean sheets, and I think that Man City will do well against Everton in game week 8. I have Lewis Hall in this team as well. I think that he will start. Livramento, as mentioned, he is injured. I think that Hall is a good differential to own going forward. In game week 8, playing against Brighton, I think this is a good fixture for Newcastle. In midfield, gone for a big punt, Okafor. He looked so good against Spurs in game week 7, scored a goal. I think that he can do well against Burnley. Burnley, they are actually the worst defensive team so far, so Leeds can potentially score a couple of goals against Burnley in game week 8. Paqueta, he is in for their good fixture at home against Brentford. He is on penalties and most set pieces, so he can do well against them. Saka is in, as mentioned. He is the first choice penalty taker for Arsenal, and the last midfield spot is for Anthony Gordon on penalties and set pieces for Newcastle as well. So Saka and Gordon, they are in my wildcard team as well, but in my free hit team, I would include a couple of more differentials, and Paqueta Okafor is in. The last midfield spot is still Josh King, 4.5, and lets me upgrade in my starting 11. Up front in my free hit team, I've gone for Erling Haaland, Strand Larsen, Jared Bowen. Same as in the wildcard, I think they are really good options in game week 8 and also for going forward. So this attacking trio is actually in my free hit team and in my wildcard team as well. Please let me know in the comments down below, how do you rate this free hit team ahead of game week 8? Please note that there can be injuries. There is an international break ahead of game week 8, so I will make an updated draft ahead of the deadline. So if you're interested, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss that one. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hopefully I'll see you on one of my live streams. I always have a live stream the night before the deadline, the Q&A. So if you're interested, subscribe to the channel so you can join those streams. Once again, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this video.